What's going on, folks? Payless. Wow, wow, wow. you know, I, uh, I obviously I'm a little late with this story. I really didn't want to do it. A couple of people asked me um, that have reached out to me in email and other forms to express their concerns, and like a couple of people made valid points. Some didn't make, but I welcome that. But this, why state the obvious, folks? We know this. We've seen this damn movie before. When I saw this young lady, it had all the ingredients, all too familiar ingredients. It's like you going through that buffet line and how many times are you going to eat the General Charles chicken? How many times are you going to eat that chicken? You know it, you see it, you smell it, you know where it's located, but you keep going back to that General Charles chicken. And that's exactly how I looked at this story. If this young lady wasn't in the limelight in which she was, in which she is, would we really be talking about this? Really? We see the hair, we see the nails. I've talked about, and other brothers have talked about this to ad nauseum. That a lot of sisters who, and let me be clear, I have women that watch my content, and if it don't apply, let it fly. And I know that when I say these things that I say, that the women that watch my content know my position, and they know when and who I'm applying it to. Okay. Sometimes there's collateral damage. Sometimes I may say something, and you may hear something that you may not necessarily like. And that's okay. It's called life. But I'm not here to preach on that, just letting you know that, I have women that watch, and I like to think that that since they've been rocking with me this long, they know my feelings and sentiments and who my message is really targeted to. But yeah, why kick someone when they're down? Like the brother David Carroll said, why, I'm giving him props on that notion. Why all these things that we've listened, all these things that we know, we keep reiterating and regurgitating. We know this. We know that women like Sha'Carri Richardson, who presents herself the way that she does, obviously has an affinity for European beauty standards. The same thing that they come after your Cynthia G's, come after your Christian Carolyn's, and all the, they come after us for the brothers that like those standards, but turn around and dress just like them. So I say this for years. Why don't you just go get you a real European-looking woman? Why deal with the fake? And we see this with Chicago. And I've said also that this could be style and things. But I think we're living different than that. Um, Now, this age with these youngsters, it's different because Lord have mercy. What you have now. You have sexual competition coming from all ways. You have men competing with other men for other men. You have women competing with men for other men. And you have people who decide they want to wake up and be a damn giraffe. Um, I mean, the sexual marketplace, to take a term from those manosphere guys, is very convoluted. It's very twisted. It's very hard to navigate. I can see how it's hard to navigate. Uh, Painless, many of you know I'm single. I'm an opportunist. I lay in wait and I stalk. Well, let me stop there. Hold up now. I observe before. I'm not just in every woman's face. In other words, I see what I want, but y'all don't want to hear about that shit anyway. But why we know this about? I mean, what is the big deal with this girl? And I mean, this story, it really, I don't see how it got a lot of traction, really. Because when I saw the young lady, I said, okay, typical. This is typical. Dottish look, okay, she can run fast. We all knew a female in the neighborhood that could beat everybody, even the dudes. So, you lift up the rock, it's like, okay. General Tso's chicken. I mean, what? Okay, all right. Oh, shit. Cheeseburger, hamburger helper again, huh? That's the third time this week. So, I really wasn't really, again, that's why it took me so long. But let me get into this thing about weed. Weed, to me, I smoked a lot of weed in high school. In fact, it kept me a month shy from joining the Army. I kept coming up hot. But see, the thing with me is, of course, I went into the United States Army. And, I didn't do any type of drugs then, illegal drugs or what they would say, things like that. But I knew when to stop. And with the weed, it's not so much about weed, folks. It's about accountability, rules, and things like that. I watch, what's that show with Keyshawn, J. Will, and some other dude. I watch because I work from home and I have my situation. I got my setup just like I like. And they got this lady on here, Monica McNutt, and she sounded like a straight up fool this morning. And and I had my views about women talking sports with a bunch of guys, but she sounded like a straight up, all up fool this morning, all around fool. Talking about, yeah, I know she did this, and the rules say, if she broke the rules, yeah, she broke the rules. And I'm like, goddamn, well, that's what it was. She broke the rules. This is nothing about racism or anything like that. Now, one could always say, hey, there's some hints. Yeah, but it doesn't negate the fact that she broke a rule. And there's this union between black folks and the ability to follow rules. I said we're a very narcissistic, look at me people. I mean, the very fact that we're always in the news. We're always in the news about some shit. Every time I turn around, we're like the child. We're like the child that just needs attention. that needs to be heard, that needs, that's always in the goddamn principal's office. That's what black Americans are. Always in the goddamn principal's office, getting reprimanded. Bringing attention to ourselves. And it's usually not in a good way. If our ass ain't getting hashtagged, we're doing shit like this, violating rules, I take that back, international rules. And see, a lot of people thought that Japan, which is where the Olympics is going to be held at, who's hosting, the host country rather, banned Black Lives Matter attire. No, it wasn't Japan. Japan did not do that. It was the OIC that did that. The same governing body that is under that establishes these types of rules, i.e., drug usage, things like that. And I'm not going to get into the science because I could give a damn about marijuana. I don't smoke it. Haven't smoked marijuana since high school. I don't do that. And I'm not going to get on here and give you some bro science about where it relaxes you. It makes you relax so you run without I've heard all type of shit. I could give a damn, but I'm just saying rules are rules. And there are consequences. And to go for the low-hanging fruit of, well, if you just, see, and this is the thing, like that girl Monica McNutt. Well, and she kept saying, well, she broke the rules, and I understand that. But blah, 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 blah. Well, she broke the rule. And the dude on the panel, I forget his name, white guy, he's trying to say, I don't think this about race. This is someone who broke the damn rules. And, but she kept going on and looking like an all-out asshole idiot on there. And it was, it was very embarrassing to see her cap and hold no accountability. And that's the problem in the so-called black community, especially amongst of the female type. They don't hold each other accountable. You don't want to hear from black men, but you're not checking each other. We're the groups in the so-called black community that check black women, where black women are, there's thousands, at least there has been, of big brother, little brother programs in the so-called black community, which Negroes are still capping and asking money from the government for. Come on, folks. We've been doing these initiative programs since the damn 70s. And the shit has only gotten worse. But you know what? I digress on that. Where are the female big sister, little sister programs? Never heard of them. See, y'all are not checking each other. And I said this, I've been saying this for years. I said all these quick-tempered young black kids out here, especially these young men who are so quick-tempered, slick at the mouth, learn this shit from their black mothers. That is not up for debate. All that quick to get a gun and to go full retard, they get that from women. That is a women's approach. Overkill is always how women handle shit because they can't handle their emotions. This is why you see hundreds of thousands of young black men quick to kill. Killing is a very intimate ordeal, okay? Shouldn't be taken lightly. Something that should just be, it should be there should be a discussion before you off someone. But when you're in the so-called black community where there's no law and order, there's no accountability, where behavior goes unchecked, and when things are not going the way, it's about race. And I've said this before, and I kind of get tired of hearing it. This idea that when black people say shit like this, that we couldn't come up with these ideas unless we listen to white people. when you have these black blue check Negroes on social media talking about you're taking white supremacist talking points like this, like I couldn't come up with this shit on my own. That I have to go take time and listen to what you perceive as white supremacists or right wing apologists and listen to their talking points and come back and regurgitate. And see, that in and of itself is stupid. And what that does, it says that, you know, when I hear the Tariq Nasheeds say shit like this, or the Cynthia G's say, yeah, they use white talking points. What they're really saying to you people is that you're black and there's no way you could have come up with these things on your own. That you're that dumb. That's really what you're saying. So I'm gonna kill that talking point that black folks who sound like, you know, they do that with what's the black girl that I forget her name. Somebody will let me know. But they do that with her. That conservative black girl who runs around. They got into it with Cardi B. They do that with her. Like, she sounds pretty intelligent. Like, you can't, like we don't have the ability to come up with them. And usually the shit is right there. It's so apparent. But when you're pandering to race and things like that, you want to obfuscate or move around stuff like that. And it becomes ridiculous. And, you know, maybe, maybe y'all are seeing the thumbnail. And I got this off the internet, of course. And I thought it was so interesting. Given the fact that Sha'Carri Richardson is part of the LGBT community. Well, hot damn, Painless. Who would have thought that shit? You lying. Part of LGBT? No. Black folks on it. And see, and that's where it is, folks. I said that this shit all started with Occupy Wall Street. And this started way before then. This is when I noticed it. It all started, to me, this is when I became abreast of this whole infusion of left-wing, Doc Martin, bull nose earring, pink-colored hair, gauged ears, tattoos everywhere, meth addicts, trying to latch on the struggles of black folks, trying to ride on the caboose of black issues in this Occupy Wall Street. And I've talked about it, folks. That was nothing but pissed off trust fund babies with the kilts and the Doc Martens and the damn fishnet leggings, you know. SJWs, social justice warrior types. That's when I noticed all this shit going real left. And what has happened is, because of the devoid of accountability and culture in the so-called black community, many black folks, many young black folks have started to drift towards the left, free love, F the police, fused with this LGBT, gender confusion, sexual confusion, purpose confusion, wokeism has merged together, and this is what we have now. This is what we have now, folks. Where black women, when you have a woman, when you have this lady, I want you to look at that thumbnail. I mean, to think she has the unmitigated gall. You see, when you look like that, you need to be humble. You need to be getting everybody at your coochie. Talking about no coloreds. And we all know that's a code word for black folks, not Hispanics, which are non-white, not Asians, not who else? Yeah. Not Hawaiians, not Puerto Ricans, not Dominicans, not Filipinos. Okay? Color equals blacks. So what she essentially is saying that she doesn't want any black men. And this is what you have. You have a lot of sisters out here that would rather shack up with a LGBT type that I mentioned just a moment ago. And I'm seeing it now in a lot of interracial lesbian and homosexual couples. And the reason is because, you know, the so-called black community is devoid of any culture, any stance, any recognition, whereas we had before. And like Deborah Carroll said, you know, I don't think we can dig ourselves out of this shit because, you know, we're living in a very capping, very look at me now. It's all about me. You know, very look at me now, capping, fake culture in America. And then you combine that with a group of people who lack self-esteem. Whereas there was some self-esteem. You know, this idea that we've been in America for 400 years and lacked no, there was a time we were very prideful in a good way, people. We were very prideful. We took very pride in our appearance, pride in ownership. Where there's pockets of black folks that are still like that, such as myself, others. But a great many of us, because I've said this before, a lot of black people are very, you know, when you look at the idea of conservatism, we fit that. We used to fit that. You know, a man and a man don't belong together. A woman and a woman don't belong. You know, we held those standards. Shit, laying up. It should be shameful for a woman to show up pregnant and to walk around willy-nilly like shit is sweet in the so-called black community. Well, it was a community back then, in the black community of old. It used to be shame. It used to be shame for a man to lay up on his ass all day without a job and let his woman go work for him. Now that shit is lauded. Now that shit is, we gotta look out for our black sons. And, you know, it's rough out there weird. They killing us and shooting us down. And I'm like, who is they? Police, F12, fuck 12. But you know what? I'm not going to state the obvious because that in and of itself is also, you know, why kick black brothers down, you know, when you know what's up, you know all the gibberish they're talking about. Like you have a 6'10" Negro that lives in a gated goddamn community talking about he's scared of the police. Talking about he's scared, that black folks are scared. So when you have someone like that, like David Carroll said, it's kind of hard to dig yourself out this one there, bucko. It's and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate how we've been reduced to. I look at Japan, and I've living in Hawaii, I've had the pleasure of knowing a lot of Japanese. Well, it's not a pleasure, but I've had the opportunity to know a lot of Japanese. And I've been to Japan on several times. Not numerous, but I've been to Japan twice, two or three. I know more than once. And they're very nationalistic. They're you better know some Japanese when you scooting around. Very prompt people. That bullet train, those trains run on the second. They are very prompt. When them trains say we showing up in Shibuya at 11:29, that shit is pulling up at 11:29. And when they say we're taking off in 12 minutes and you ain't on it, sorry about it, brother. But they're very nationalistic people. Very, I wouldn't say prideful. They're very resilient. I mean, this is a country that was blown damn near to smithereens. This was a country that was blown to literally to smithereens, folks. Atomic bomb. God, I think that's the only country on the planet that has had a bomb dropped on it, an atomic bomb. Atomic bomb? We ain't talking about a bomb with some damn shrapnel in the head and all that. We talking about science. We talking about atoms in a damn warhead. And yet these people have now some of y'all were painless. Wait a minute now, painless. And see, this is the coon that comes out. Wait a minute, painless. The Japanese, they wouldn't be how they was if it weren't for America. Now, America went in there and gave them banks and gave them technology and all that. See, you stupid fool. While that did happen, these people had the wherewithal first to surrender. Surrendering is very intimate as well. The ability to submit is very, on the face to some fools, it looks cowardly. But when you can proposition and look in the long term of yourself and your people, it's very admirable. I did a video years ago talking about submitting to men, to brothers. So where I'm going to give you a quick story. I go out and walk sometime. I do my active recovery when I'm not slamming myself on the floor and running miles. It was a brother coming. He was a younger guy. And he had to probably be in mid-20s by his look. You know what I mean? And I'm walking, and I'm bigger than him. I'm obviously bigger than him. And this is the simple thing of walking down the street on the same side of the sidewalk. I scooted over in the grass because he was coming, and he didn't. But, I said, let me show, and not trying to show, but this is who I am. I slid over, not to avoid conflict, but just a kind gesture. Just because you have the power, and when I mean I had the power, like, not only was I bigger than him, if I was an ignorant brute fool, I could probably put some tips on him, if I needed to. This being stupid, touch him up. But don't do that. When you have power, you don't need to exert it all the time. So Japan had power, But they say, it's a time for submission. We're looking at the long term in this. So there was a ceremony of surrender. It was you can look it up on the history. I mean, they got the shit on camera now. I think they even got it in colored. No pun. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, it's cool. Here you have a nation that had the atomic bomb dropped on them. Killed, I don't know how many Japanese. Now these people have turned into one of the top 5 hegemonic powers on the planet. Yet you, Negro. Ooh, Lord Jesus, please. You, Negro, are still out here doing the things that you do. You're out here lobbying for illegal drugs, making excuses. You out here being one of the most least desired groups of women in terms of choice on the planet. You men, you young men, you out here killing indiscriminately. We live in a culture in the so-called black community where the people who are least likely to get married, the people that are least desired, are running the so-called black community. It's widely accepted. You got to go through Big Mama. You have men, hundreds of thousands of black men that subscribe to Peter Pan syndrome type of living where no one wants to grow up. There's no accountability. I've talked about quality versus quantity in the so-called black community. Go look it up. I'm not going to really rehash that. But this is where we're at, folks. Oh, yeah. We receive tons of, and rightfully so, tons of initiative, federal laws, state laws, billions of dollars, and what has it done? Yet you have a group of people who had a bomb, a atomic bomb dropped on them, now is one of the top 5 hegemonic powers, yet you own nothing in your so-called living areas and streets. So, it's just something to think about, folks. But yeah, this is where we're at. Confusion. This gender war has taken on a new set of legs. New players, like I've said. But it is what it is, folks. Painless out.